Have you ever wanted to draw digitally on your screen tablet, but suddenly your dad comes in and says, "We gotta go grocery shopping," and you must be ripped away from your artwork even though you guys just got groceries a few days ago, and you're sure there's still at least some eggs and veggies left, and you suspect he really just wants to go buy fish for dinner because he really likes fish for some reason, and you don't really want to stop because you've hit a flow state, and you're just going to be doing nothing in the car ride there anyway, and you're probably recruited to be emotional support and manual labor to haul everything back, especially because you don't want to have to change to presentable clothes instead of whatever gremlin outfit you're currently wearing. Yeah, me neither. That's so weird and specific, just asking for no reason, you know. But there's definitely been times I have been sitting on my desk for too long and I want to draw in bed, or I'm traveling and I can't draw on my usual tablet because it's too big and it requires connecting to a computer. Yes, you saw this coming. I am back with another tablet review. When I think of a standalone tablet when talking about art tablets, I personally think of the really expensive large computer tablets such as the Wacom Mobile Studio Pro. Yeah, very, very expensive. But there's also the more general use alternatives, something along the lines of iOS and Android tablets. After all, they have a screen, you can get pens for them, and there are drawing apps that you can install and use. And that's the kind of tablet I'm looking at today. Introducing the Frunsi RubensTab T11 Pro. Kind of a mouthful. And to be absolutely transparent, I was sent this tablet to do a review video, but everything I say is my own opinion, of course, as always. My impression of this is that it's kind of just a tablet that anyone would use, but it also comes with a stylus. Like, it doesn't seem particularly to be specially designed for art, other than the fact that it comes with some accessories that caters towards it and comes pre-installed with Autodesk Sketchbook. But I'm going to review it just the same because some people like to use these kind of tablets for both drawing and other things, so maybe there's points to consider when looking for that kind of device, whether you want to buy this specific one or not. Anyways, let's go over the basic specs here, and then I will go into my thoughts on it compared to other tablets, and I maybe will show some drawing footage while I'm at it, if I so desire. Alright, specs, and accessories. It's a tablet, we know what those are. It comes with Android 12 installed with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage, although it supports card reading of up to 128 gigs. There is what they call a sensitive stylus with pressure sensitivity, so you can press harder or lighter for different line effects. The screen is 1920 by 1200 pixel resolution with palm rejection, so you don't, sorry, gotta open this up. Sorry. So you don't mess things up when you're resting your hand on it when using the stylus. They've got a 580 milliampere hour battery, which supports around 5 hours of working time. The package includes a case stand with 10 levels of angle adjustments. There's a charging adapter and mini HDMI cable, a glove, another set of gloves, as well as a cleaning cloth to clean the fingerprints you're definitely getting onto the screen. There's also a cleaning brush, but I don't know how I should be using it. I think the packaging and process to set up everything is very straightforward. I don't think the packaging design is that impressive, but I don't really expect that for a device that costs like $220. It's not like Apple, and I think this is a repeated sentiment that came up a few times during my trial period and probably during this review, but I do think price plays a factor in what you can expect from this product. And even for a low price point, there are nice things to appreciate. For one, within that packaged price point, it comes with a case that is used both for protection, but also to be able to stand the tablet up. It keeps all the important buttons and ports exposed, and has a nice little stylus holder on it as well, so you can just slot your pen in there, keeping with the general casing complex, and not worry about losing it, which is something I worry about all the time with my usual tablets. And the stylus itself actually feels pretty nice. It's a very slim shape. It has some weight to it. If you see my previous tablet reviews, you know I do appreciate some weight on a pen. It has a clip on it so you can secure it better. However, if you want to compare this to like an Apple Pencil or something, it's definitely not the same. A big difference, other than the obvious shape and lack of magnetic feature, is that this pen is not charged. It runs a battery, which I think can be nice in some cases. For example, your pen is dead, you don't want to wait for it to charge, you just pop in a new one. And this is of course useful if you're traveling in a situation where you don't have access to an outlet or a battery bank. Just the immediate satisfaction of being able to use it. Personally though, I don't really like having to deal with batteries. My first tablet I ever owned used batteries for the pen. The ones that are probably like AA or AAA, I don't remember, but it's probably AAA. AA is giant. But this one uses AAAA. That's 4 A's. I don't think I've ever bought this kind of battery size before, so yeah, that's different. I think this also just has to do with the technology being used here, because while both the iPad and this tablet has some sort of charge for the pens, a lot of the other tablets that I've used for desktop use are batteryless, so just a different user experience as a result. Another minor point I wanted to bring up is the pen tip itself. The tip is very reminiscent of my usual tablet pens, meaning the tip has like a slight give to it when pressed down. It looks like I can remove the nib, but I'm not really sure and I don't want to try to break it. I don't know if this would wear down over time. So far I don't really see any effect on it yet. It does not come with extra nibs, and the nib looks to be slightly, just a little bit smaller than the ones I have for my current tablets, so I'm not sure what to do if I have to replace it. It could be compatible with some other pen nib brands, or maybe even a whole nother stylus. On the other hand, the Apple Pencil is a more solid feel, as if it was just one whole solid shape. The nibs can be removed though, and Apple does sell replacement nibs for those. But for $19 for a pack of 4. I mean, just buying an Apple Pencil already is like $100 to $130, so just keep pricing in mind when comparing things. Let's talk about the tablet itself. Shape and dimensions are pretty decent size for mobility and productivity. Obviously not like the giant like 12-inch iPad Pros or anything, but something more similar to like the normal iPads. Especially because of the bezel that's on it. I know that in tech products we want smaller and smaller bezels, none if possible, but depending on what I'm using this for, I don't think the bezels really bother me, and this is especially because I have a case on it. The tablet has a place to slot an extra storage card, headphone jack, mini HDMI, USB-C for charging, volume buttons, and the off-on button. There are speakers too, but here's the thing. When I use the tablet in horizontal mode, all this is fine. All these things end up on the left side of the tablet when it's propped up, and they're all exposed for use, and it's all good. The nitpick for me is that if I want to use it in its case just in my hands while in vertical mode, like I'm just drawing my lap or something and I just want it to be vertical, I'm taking notes, I don't know. Because I expect it to open like a book, and because the pen holder is positioned to further reinforce the idea that I should be using it this way, everything ends up on the top side. So for most things, not a big deal. It's like appropriate, like the on-off button. The fact that the charging port is also up there though kind of throws me off. Because as a user electronics, most of the stuff I've owned and used so far, the charger is almost always on the bottom or the side of the device when it's in use. So, like I said, it's a nitpick. So if that kind of thing doesn't bother you, then it's all Gucci. We're all good. I think actually drawing on the tablet is very easy to pick up. It has a teensy bit of parallax, but it's to be expected, and by drawing at a more head-on angle, it's not a problem. For me, the part that feels weird, and it was also the case with drawing on an iPad directly, is that the glass of the screen feels too smooth to me. the pen just glides a little too easily, so I would recommend maybe getting a screen protector with a bit of texture on it for more long-term use. Of course, this added friction would likely cause some wear on the tip of the pen over time, so I guess be able to plan for that. I think what also took me some time to have to get over was the fact that when I worked on my usual desk tablets, I have a keyboard or extra buttons or some external device to help my workflow. I use them usually to undo, easily change colors or brush sizes or rotate the canvas, etc. With this standalone tablet, I don't have that, so my workflow has to change. I have to get used to tapping on things or using finger motion shortcuts to do the same things. If you use tablets a lot for these kind of things, it's something you get used to, but for me, I mostly use my touch devices for browsing things in bed or on the go, so I don't really do a lot more on them. Also, when it comes to actually working on the tablet, I'm not sure the case stand does too much for me in terms of the angle options. Yes, there are multiple angles you can work at, but I feel like there's only a small window of angles that actually work for me in terms of when I'm working at a desk with it. No one's going to draw on the screen while it's at a very steep angle. For me, I just use the lowest setting, or I just set it flat. I've noticed that the screen is only really bright when viewed perpendicularly, so in terms of actually getting a good look at the colors that I'm writing or drawing, viewing angle will be quite important. I actually found myself wishing a couple times that the screen would be brighter when I was in the sun, but I think that's also a problem with a lot of electronics in general, so I don't really blame them for that. I'm not going to really cover apps for drawing because that's not really on the tablet itself and more on just what's available out there. This is an Android device though, so Procreate is not available, but you can still install IBIS Paint, Sketchbook, Clip Studio app, and a lot of other ones. So, would I continue to use this, and if so, for what? For my usual detailed drawing, probably not. I think having the larger tablets that I usually use better suits my workflow to actually get good productivity, and I have the comfort of applications that I'm more used to with all the resources that I've downloaded. I think this is partially why if I were to have a dedicated standalone art device, I would want something that installs Windows so I can do more complex things and more easily transfer my existing resources and, extra points if it has, more buttons and dials and stuff available for it to kind of recreate the workflow that I usually have. But I think this tablet would be very useful for me to kind of do some simple doodles and sketches around the house or when I'm away. Especially now that I travel and I do conventions, this would be really great to still be drawing digitally or even just use it in a more general manner, like looking up things and taking handwritten notes when I don't have paper, and just having it saved. I just also really like having a stylus with a tablet. It just makes me feel cool and professional and, cool. So yeah, I think that's it. I think it's a neat device. Would be nice if you just wanted a cheap device that does the basics of what's needed for art and still be able to use it for non-art purposes. I have done various tablet reviews in the past, and this time was a little bit different because it's not a usual tablet that you plug into a computer. I just wanted to have a go at a more budget-friendly version of, say, working on an iPad. So here it is. Hope you enjoyed it. I have to go work on convention stuff, so check out description for links, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Do you like my Miku figurine? It's very cute. I love Miku.